Hey guys, welcome back into another video on the FBTC Rugby channel. We're again, second week in a row, some European fixtures coming up. So I've got the one and only Brandon Smith Rugby here on them. How are you doing, Brandon?
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for having me on. As always, it's great to be on your channel to chat all things rugby. And what a weekend we have. We just chatted just before we came on some really tasty fixtures. So excited to get into this.
There is, and as today, the London Irish Bath, we'll be looking at the two teams quickly, and I'll just share them on screen. So this team is 1, Ben Urbana, 2, Jack Walker, 3, Will Stewart, 4, Josh McNally, 5, Charlie Hill, 6, Falatel, 7, Bayliss, 8, Mercer, 9, Spencer, 10, Bailey, 12, Redpath, 13, Joseph, 11, McConaughey, 14, Cockerson, and 15 Watts. On the bench, they've got Jack DeToy, number 17, Schumann, 18, Henry Thomas, 19, Mike Williams, 20, Miles Reed, 21, Will Chudley, 22, Matt Thornton, 23, Alex Gray. And for London Irish, one Fakunu Jejena, number 2, Andrew Craven, number 3, Luca Charachu, number 4, George Knox, number 5, Rob Simmons, number 6, captain for them, Matt Rogerson, number 7, Blair Cameron, and number 8, Albert Tuzizi, number 9, Nick Phipps, and that inform number 10, Paddy Jackson, number 12, Terence Hatamina, number 13, Thea Brophy Clues in there, surprisingly, number 14, Loader, number 11, Oliver Haskell, number 15, Parton. On the bench, they've got 16 Corners, 17 Orkin, 18 Hoskins, 19 Mungler, 20 Donovan, 21 O'Brien, 22 Minion, 23 Stokes. Brandon, what's your opinions roughly on both of those teams?
I think they're both very strong teams. I think I did a few notes beforehand when I was doing my Challenge Cup preview predictions on my channel. And I think, you look at both teams come into this one on form. And London Irish, obviously, we know how they're going to try and play rugby. They're going to throw the ball about, they're not going to change their style. Well, Bath probably maybe have a little bit more up front for them. I think Bath have picked a very strong team. Could see Cameron Redpath back in the starting team after a long-term injury. Zach Mercer's back, which is really good. Shame that he's going out to France. And then you look at London Irish's squad. I mean, you look at Loader on the wing. He's been absolutely incredible recently. And he'll be someone that they'll have to stop. So I think very two strong teams. I think we're in for a really good game.
I think the one thing when I saw the selection today, I was surprised there's no Curtis Rona. I was surprised not on the team sheet. I think it's rested or injured, we don't know. But I think it might be resting. But I think this is a big opportunity for both sides to get a trophy this year. This is a big opportunity for them, of their fans, and they will think we can have a go and try and win it, because they're not going to get anything in the Premiership. They're not going to get anything else. They're this massive. I think for most Premiership clubs, and I agree with what you were saying on your live streams, make sure if you're not going to subscribe to Brandon, I'll put the link in the channel below. Make sure, I think this is a big opportunity for most clubs. If you're not fighting for a top 4 place, like I get what Quins did, but I think this is a big opportunity. You've got to try and win a trophy. That's what they want. Fans want. They want to win trophies. And I think that's where I do think it'll be very close.
Yeah, I think, as you said, again, the whole thing with no relegation will play into minds of a lot of clubs once again in the Premiership, thinking, do you know what, there's no risk of that. We'd like to finish as high as possible in the Premiership, but this is a great competition to win. And that's, Quins obviously are targeting the Premiership. I can understand that to an extent. But I think this now is where teams really have to start taking this competition seriously. And I think that's reflected, especially with Bath's selection, Zach Mercer coming back in, Cameron Redpath coming in. I think that shows how seriously they'll be taking this game. But it's going to be a good game.
I think, I'll ask you in a minute, I think Bath by 7. I think Bath will just nick it at home advantage. I
backed London Irish on my preview. I backed them by 3 to 5.
Yeah, I can see it. It's going to go. It's going to be one score in it.
Yeah, definitely. Because last time they played each other, London Irish won 36-33, but Bath did get 2 players sent off in that one. So, so yeah, that does tell a lot. But no, I think discipline's going to be key in this one as well. I think discipline. We've seen so many yellows and reds recently. But yeah, I think London Irish by 3 to 5.
guys, we're now going to move on to the 12:30 kickoff for Leicester versus Newcastle. Unfortunately, it's not Ospreys because that would be a great live stream. But yeah, I think. What's your opinions on this game?
Yeah, I, as an Ospreys fan, a little bit frustrated, got to be totally honest. But fair play to Newcastle. They were probably the better team for most of the game. Leicester just smashed Connacht up front. Absolutely smashed on. Your driving maul is scary. I would not want to face that, especially doing a watch along with you. That would have not been too enjoyable. But yeah, Leicester, it'll be interesting to see if the big boys come back for this one, if the likes of Ford comes back in. I think I'm saying his name right. Jasper Vise, is that how I say his name, the number 8?
Jasper Visa.
Jasper Visa, sorry. He was brilliant last week. So good. And if he's playing like anything like he did, he'll be integral for Leicester to get front football. Newcastle Falcons are a weird one. There's not one player that truly stands out, but they work well as a team. But for me, this is Leicester's to lose. If Leicester put out their strongest team, Leicester win this quite comfortably, I think. I had a look. Leicester won the most recent match, which was just at the end of last month. They won that 26-12. So, yeah, I back you guys to win this one fairly comfortably by 10 points, maybe.
I would not be surprised if Borthwick, because they have to have England boys have to have 2 weeks rest. They've already had 1 week. I would not be surprised if he rests his England boys again. I would not be surprised. That's something I would not. But I generally think this is a game you could rest the England boys and still win. I just think you can do that. But I think Leicester have a. Weese has been doing it all season for Leicester. Got a couple of injuries, quite a few injuries too. But Weese has been doing it, and everyone this weekend seen how good he actually is, because no one really watches the Premiership, and then people been watching Europe and Connacht Ireland. I've said to people, watch out for Weezy. He's a phenomenon. People are actually starting seeing how good he is. But only one person is his discipline. He did get a red card, and he probably should have had a red card against Newcastle. That's my only worry about Jasper Visa. He's a bit like Matt. He can go very vicious into the rucks. That's my only problem with him. But apart from that, he's a dominant carry. He's a big South African.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I think Leicester, if they can dominate the game physically, although Newcastle are a decent sized team, they're quite physical themselves. You got to say, yeah, you got to back you guys to win this one. And I mean, Ben Youngs, I think, has been playing really well at 9. I think he was one of the best performers for England over the Six Nations. And if Ford comes back at 10, that'll be massive for you as well. But yeah, I think you'll win this one quite comfortably, 10 to 15 points. I think it'd be quite a comfortable win, especially being at home. Welford Road, although there's no fans, it does have something about it. It does have something about it. It's an intimidating place to go. So yeah, I'd back Leicester to win this one comfortably. I wouldn't be too worried if I was you.
Leicester by 5. I still think you're just going to get that niggly from them. I do just back them. I don't think it's comfortably. You're going to say it as a fan. I'm very nervous. Hopefully we can get through. But I think Leicester by. We're going to go on to a game at 3 o'clock. Doing a live stream on the FBTC Rugby channel for this. La Rochelle versus Sale Sharks. Big game. La Rochelle dominated Gloucester last week. And we all know what happened last Sunday. Sale absolutely annihilating Scar. But I was surprised. I wasn't surprised about, or was. I don't think they gelled together, but I'm not surprised because the Prem's way above the Wales, like some of the Wales teams in the Pro 14.
Yeah, and on that, I don't think the gap's as big as people think it is. I think they're very different. The Pro 14, the amount of money the Pro 14 has compared to the Premiership, you can't compare it. The Premiership is one of the richest leagues in the world, and that's just fact. But yeah, I do think it highlighted that. We did speak about that on the Welsh Rugby Roundup show a bit more. Sales Sharks, you know what they're going to bring. They're going to be very powerful, driving maul, get over the game line with their big ball carries. Faf de Klerk is going to be yapping in people's ears, creating a nuisance of himself and making players charge into him. I think Jake Ball was very lucky after that game. Somehow he's not been cited for that, which just blows my mind. La Rochelle, as you said, I was very, very impressed by them against Gloucester. I thought they played really, really well. I thought Bottia, the Fijian centre, had a brilliant game. I thought the 9 and 10 controlled the game well. I think it's going to be a fascinating one, this one. I'm really struggling to pick a winner. I'm not sure. I did back La Rochelle to win this one. La Rochelle is second in the top 14, only 3 points behind Toulouse. But I think it's going to be a great game. But I'm not sure who are you going to back.
I'm obviously you got to think of La Rochelle. If they had fans there, I'm picking La Rochelle. It's because they don't have fans there. That's the thing that's when I feel that Sale was somehow with the Alex Sanderson factor from Saracens somehow going to scrape a winner. AJ McGinty last minute penalty off the tee. I just think by 3 points, Sale will get this.
Oh wow. I think it depends. If Sale can get the platform to play, and if they can get good ball and get good momentum, then yeah. But I just think La Rochelle are just way too professional. I think La Rochelle will win this one. I think 3-5, La Rochelle win.
Yeah. We are now going on to the challenge, back over to the Challenge Cup now. 8 o'clock kickoff for Montpellier versus Benetton. Some people are getting distracted, but I won't be watching it, but I'm quite interested to see what this game brings, because I think Montpellier, when they get in a situation, they're not good under pressure, and I think Benetton could do that to them. It'd be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one. It's like when you have a Champions League quarter-final and nobody really cares all that much about it, but I think it's going to be a fascinating one. Montpellier obviously beat Glasgow last weekend, 26-21, but Glasgow were down to 13 men at one point, and Montpellier only just managed to beat them. Benetton beat Agen pretty comfortably, 29-16, but for people who may not watch Pro 14 much, Benetton finished bottom of their conference, of Conference B. 0 wins, only the 1 draw, but a lot of their results were very, very close, actually. They pushed Munster very close, pushed the Ospreys close a few times, pushed a few of the other sides very, very close. And they've got some good players. I think Benetton will win this. Monty Ione on the wing is very, very good. Paulo Galbisi at 10 is good, but young, needs a little bit of experience there and a little bit of help there. But no, I think Benetton are going to win this one. For Montpellier, players keep an eye on Boutier. Lazowski at 10 is good. And of course, Guevara at hooker, very, very experienced. But no, Benetton for me. I think Benetton are going to win this one.
Yeah, I just have a feeling Benetton, because I think Montpellier will get put under pressure. They'll crack under pressure. We've seen it before. They spend all this money on this team, and money's not always the answer. Maybe sometimes it is, but it's not. They got to. Hopefully, Zach Mercer can help their problems over there next year. I do think Benetton are going to come away. I think they'll be just 5 points. Just think, I would like to see it. It'd be great to see Benetton. But I'd be interested to see. I think Benetton 5. We're moving on to probably the game of the round. It's Northampton Saints versus Ulster. Everyone in the Challenge Cup is looking forward to this game, Saints versus Ulster. I think it's going to be a cracking game. It looks great on paper. Obviously, not seeing the team that Saints could go beating. I don't know. But it could be a very interesting game.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the games of the weekend. Obviously, Northampton had a very dramatic game against the Dragons last weekend, where they won right at the death. And then obviously Ulster absolutely smashed Harlequins, but it was a very, very young Harlequins team. I think it's a tough one because Ulster play this lovely brand of rugby. But the only concern I would have if I was an Ulster fan is, can they win the physical battle against Northampton? Because if you can win the physical battle and you can win the breakdown, then you tend to win the game. I don't know if Ulster are physical enough to do that. But if they do manage to get some level of dominance in those areas, then I think Ulster could win this game actually quite comfortably. I think Ulster are a very, very, very good side. They're probably the second best team in the Pro 14 behind Leinster. And, when you got players like Cooney playing really well, Marcel Coetzee at 8 is an absolute machine. And Michael Lowry at fullback's really, really good. The big question, though, for Ulster is, can you stop Nyavoro? Because I don't know how you stop that guy. I don't know if it's possible. But no, I think you back Ulster here.
Because just saying this, he will get worst Ulster get the ball. He will be exploited so much. He doesn't play in the Premiership for Saints because he gets exploited so much defensively and gets ripped apart. So you say Lowry, Stockdale, or ripping into a piece of bread. He's bad. He's great attackingly, but bad. But the physical. If they can get that, I think Ulster will win this. Even if they don't get the physicality, but they have to get it right. Saints aren't the most physical team, but we all know how physical the Premiership is.
Yeah,
I see Ulster by 10. I just see them come through. A Lowry try. I was really impressed with Lowry last week. be seen in Champions Cup, but he continues every time he performs, continues to impress me.
No, definitely. I think Ulster will be confident, but Northampton, it depends how serious they're going to take it, doesn't it? It depends if the likes of Bigger will come back in and play. It really depends on that, or they're going to put out their second string team again. But it is at Franklin Gardens, so that plays a little bit of a thing in it. And obviously, both teams will be confident going into it. But I think Ulster by 5-10.
Yeah, I agree. That's good. We're going to move on to 12:30, doing a watch along here on FBTC for Bordeaux Beglers versus Racing 92. These two games are on firecracker, attacking. They look so good. Bordeaux obviously beating Bristol. There's some controversy decisions, but that's discussed for another day. And Racing just they blew Edinburgh. Edinburgh, I don't think were great at all, but Racing just blew them apart. It was a domination.
Yeah, definitely. Racing possibly the best team in Europe. Big news, obviously, Finn Russell is still not going to be available for this one. Edinburgh, you've got to say, last week weren't great, and they've been really poor all season. They finished 5th in their conference in the Pro 14 and missed their internationals a lot. And even though their internationals were back last week, I mean, Racing just absolutely smashed them. Bordeaux beat Bristol. A couple of refereeing decisions, interesting, let's say, to say the least. I think for me, there's a clear winner here. Racing, I think, are 3rd in the top 14, while Bordeaux are 6th or 7th. Yeah. So for me, I think Racing win this one fairly comfortably by about 15 to 20 points. It is at Bordeaux, so I don't know how much that will have an impact because obviously Racing play on an artificial pitch. But no, I think you back Racing to win this one by 15 to 20 points.
Yeah, I do think. I know it's not happening this way, but Bristol versus Racing would have been an absolute great game to watch. But I do think Racing by 10 are just, even though the worrying thing, Finn Russell's not even playing. That's even the worrying thing. They're beating these sides convincingly without Finn Russell there. But I just think about 10 to 15 points, Racing will come through on this again for another win. And we'll move on to now Clermont-Auvergne just beating Wasp last week. Yeah. That's what good side. They didn't play great, but they got the win versus a very good Toulouse, and they impressed me so much again. Munster were much better than they were in the Pro 14 final. I think they bottled up the pressure, but that's another conversation. And Dupont, obviously, I think this Toulouse team with Colby, Dupont, Entomac, Kano, plenty of other players too. I'm forgetting. What do you think will happen here?
I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think straight away, you look at the Toulouse back line and you look at Dupont, you look at Entomac, you look at Cheslin Colby, you look at all these players and they can create something. Clermont managed to win in the end against Wasp, last minute win there. It's going to be a really good game either way. I would back Toulouse to get the job done. I think they will win this one. It is at Clermont, I believe it is. But again, how much of an impact does that really have? And, they play each other twice in the season domestically, and then they play in Europe. They haven't played each other since the early 2000s. Toulouse won that one. So there's not much recent history within this competition. But I think you back Toulouse, but I think we're going to see a great game regardless. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think Toulouse. I think they'll be interesting. I think if fans were there, it'd be a different story because the Clermont-Auvergne is like the Borussia Dortmund of rugby. Yeah. That is rugby, the yellow wall. But I just think Dupont, it'll be the Dupont show. I think they'll have the ability with Kano getting their front football, and I think Entomac will run. Dupont and Entomac will run the show and win by 10 points.
Oh, 10 points. I wouldn't put it that much personally. I'd say 3 to 7 actually, 3 to 7. But I think it's going to be high scoring. We're going to get. I'm sure we're going to get onto in a second. Leinster, Exeter, but this game's going to be high scoring, very high scoring. The others maybe not so much, but this game will be high scoring, I think.
And this is probably for me the game of the weekend. That's why I've let it till last. It's Exeter versus Leinster. This one is This is one of my personal great. It's the champions of the Premiership and Europe versus the former champions of Europe and the Pro 14. It's going to be close. Whoever wins the Physic 4 battle will win this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. The physical battle is going to be so key in this one. We know what Exeter can do going forward, and also we know what Leinster can do. Leinster are a machine. Once they get that momentum going forward, going through the forwards, going through their ball carries, very difficult to stop. And you're questioning the opposition. You're like, why aren't you stopping it? It's so hard to stop it. And yeah, obviously Leinster didn't play last week. The French were off eating waffles once again. And Exeter beat Lyon pretty comfortably, didn't they? It is down at Sandy Park, which I do think has an impact. I'm going to back Leinster because I think Leinster, they're coming into form at the right time. They've had blips across the season. They lost against the Ospreys and they lost against Connacht as well. But they've really built up nicely. They absolutely battered Ulster recently. They battered Munster as well up front. I think they're going to win this one. I think Leinster will win.
I think it's all about if I do think it's going to be a fault. It's not going to be one for the Bordeaux game or the Clermont game, but it's going to be all about the physicality. I think there's some big Simmons, obviously, great matchups there. But I do think it'll be that it's 50-50 on this one, very 50-50. I think Leinster could do it. It depends who turns up on the day. Whoever gets better. If Chiefs stop Leinster more, Chiefs will win in their 4-pack. Whoever gets over the game line will win that game. And I just think by 1 point, back Exeter.
Oh, okay. I'm going to back my Pro 14 side is coming out here. I'm going to back Leinster. I think Leinster will win. It'll be interesting to see because obviously Leinster have had 2 weeks off, while Exeter have only had a week off, which shouldn't make a big difference at all, really. But I think Leinster love this competition. And obviously the Pro 14 is done. It's finished. That's it. While Exeter also have the Premiership to think about. So, yeah, I think Leinster will go full gun blazing. Robbie Henshaw will start. Sexton will start. Devin Toner will start. Ruddock, Josh van der Fleer, all of them will start. All the big boys will start. And I think Leinster will win 3 points. I'm going to say 3 points. Leinster win.
Yeah, guys, we're finishing off here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to everything that makes this channel special. And I'll see you again for another video. Bye.